Designed to accelerate executives' learning and career growth at 4 different stages, the comprehensive leadership programs at Harvard Business School Executive Education deliver knowledge, skills, and perspective that transform your ability to lead. Prepare now to face tomorrow's challenges with confidence. Immerse yourself in a powerful, proven learning experience with full-time HBS faculty and talented peers from around the world. To learn more, visit hbs.me/leadership. That's hbs.me/leadership.
Blog Talk Radio.
The number one problem in the world today.
It's the church. Real talk, real talk, real.
RTR, in conjunction with BEC Media, presents Real Talk Radio. The show that says just because you don't attend with them does not mean you're not in him. The him being Jesus. The show that plants seeds and waters seeds, but God gives the increase. So let's talk about it on Real Talk Radio. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Well. The time has come for the brothers of Real Talk Radio to hang up their mics, hang up their headphones, and ride into the sunset. We thank you guys for joining us this morning on another episode of Real Talk Radio. I'm not going to talk long. You know who we are. I'm going to let the brothers introduce themselves. So go ahead, fellas.
Pass the mic to somebody, man.
Yeah, Elgin, what's up?
He's on mute.
Well, Rob, go ahead. Go ahead, Rob.
Elgin is putting the code back in his phone.
This is why we're leaving the show. Because
can't get right. Nah. But yeah, what's up?
What's up, Rob?
This is Rob, man. You know, like you said, you know who we are, man. And it's been real, man. It's been a ride, man. We've had some really good times, man. We've had some really interesting times. We've been, mad, pissed off, angry, all kinds of stuff. But man, we're still standing. But we just kind of falling back a little bit, and we'll get into all the reasons why. We promised ourselves when we talked about the show beforehand that we were going to be completely transparent and, not fake the funk, and, not that we ever have, because this is Real Talk Radio, but we're going to be completely transparent as to the reasons why we are hanging up the microphones for this particular time. So with that, I'll pass the mic on to the homie LL.
What up with the people? I don't know what to say. I guess I joined the show a little bit later, brought on by twins L and Rob. But for the ride that I had with it, it was fantastic, man. Like chopping it up with the brothers, and that's how we all became brothers and been strongest brothers since. It's a camaraderie that'll definitely be missed over the airwaves, because there's never been anything like this as far as black men doing it, and as far as black Christian men doing it, and as far as black men bringing a truth to it that we don't see, that we don't hear. Of course, we made friends through social media. We made friends and family in our own states and cities. So it'll actually be hard, not being the center mouthpiece for progression for our people, be it Christian or black. So with that, I'll pass the mic.
To Josh.
This John, first twin.
So
I'm not gonna say too much yet. I'll just save mine for the show.
Excellent.
Oh, that was real smooth there, brother.
Go ahead.
Real. Hey, man, what's going on? It's your boy, Elgin Bailey, also known as Big L, also known as Bishop. Heavyset voices in the building.
That's right.
Yeah.
Heavyset voice.
Bishop Lightskin X in the building.
Bishop Lightskin X. Yeah. What's good, man? Right. It's a really touching moment to be on this last broadcast. But we'll get into it all in a minute, man. I'm going to get some tissue for these tears real quick. You know.
Boy, you better not. Boy, you better. Ooh, boy, you better not cry.
Big Dre, what's happening?
Big Dre, a.k.a. the Conscious Christian, a.k.a. Big Fat Boy, you know.
Whoa.
Listen, you know, you guys, you know, I'm not going to be too long. When you guys brought me on to the show, you know, I was just a regular caller, you know what I'm saying, and you guys opened up your arms, let me in, you know what I'm saying, to share what I've studied and, you know, the experiences that I've had, and, you know, it's been a fantastic voyage, you understand what I'm saying? To echo the song. To echo the song has definitely been a fantastic voyage, and, you know, this today is like, I don't know how to describe it, but, you know, I ain't even going to lie. I'm holding back tears. I'm going to pass the mic. Second Twin, take over.
I got it. So, I'm going to let Elgin give a little brief history of the beginnings of Real Talk Radio, and then everybody can share in. So, Elgin, go ahead, man. How did Real Talk Radio get started? What prompted Real Talk Radio?
Oh, man. Well, at the time, I had always had a dream about doing radio. I wanted to do, you know, radio, whether it be sports broadcasting, you know, hosting a morning show, something. Well, when I began to wake up about the flaws and the negativity of the institutionalized church, I was currently serving as the minister of evangelism in a oneness Pentecostal church. And, man, as I began to wake up to the flaws of what was going on, I had that mentality. I wanted to change the system from the inside out. You know, I wanted to save the folk that I was actually ministering with. So, you know, I did, you know, little sneaky little Bible studies, teaching on the ills of the things that the church that I was currently serving in was teaching. You know, thinking I was going to slip some stuff in and save some folks that way. But the church leadership caught wind of it. Next thing you know, I'm being blackballed. I'm being, you know, treated incredibly unfairly. And somehow another man I stumbled upon. Wah, wah, wah. But somehow another.
Thank you. I know, right? Come on.
All right, calm down.
Somebody, somehow another, I stumbled upon CFR, and man, they was talking about the same thing that I was teaching, the same thing I was experiencing. So I reached out to TJ, and TJ was like, "Yo, why don't you do a show?" And I was like, yeah. So, man, next thing you know, I'm doing Real Talk Radio. The funny thing is my first broadcast was comparing the church to the prison system, how the pastor was the warden, how the COs was the deacons and the preachers, and how the inmates was, you know what I mean, the church, the pew sitters. And I went in, man, and I remember feeling so good about sharing that information. And I did a couple of shows, and after that, these two knucklehead dudes kept calling, man, and they just was always on my line. And I found out they was twins, and I was like, man. So next thing you know, they called me on a conference call, and they just jumped me, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. They just attacked me from the gate. Yo, they challenged. They was just challenging me, man. You know, asking me all these difficult questions, trying to find out where my head was at completely. And then once the conversation was done, after the attack was over, it was like, yo, we should do this joint together. And that's where we became, you know, first it was, you know, Elgin and the twins, and then we got rid of that right away because there was no hierarchy. It was just three brothers who loved the Lord talking about incredibly difficult topics. So that's just kind of a brief way, man, that everything started. Next thing you know, we did the Armor Bearer show.
I thought you did demons. Yeah, this was back in 2011, and don't believe this stuff about Elgin being attacked.
It's like what this is like that Martin episode when he was telling how him and Dina met. That's what that's like.
Shut up.
Yeah.
John has always been the corny one of the crew.
Shut up.
But yeah, it's basically how Eldridge started. He listened to Eldridge radio and was like, man, maybe we can help him. So we did reach out to him, and he agreed, and we came on the show, and we was like, let's talk about this. And he did it, and it was like great, and the thing just evolved from Elgin by himself to Elgin and us. And then, you know, we brought the other brothers along. We had some people to come to join the show. They didn't last, didn't work out for whatever reason. The chemistry wasn't there. No love lost. It's just the chemistry wasn't there for us. And then we brought along Rob and LL and Dre. And it is kind of bittersweet. I love the way we did it.
Oh, they got somebody with that vibrating phone again.
Right. That's another reason why we're ending the show. But I can talk on and on, and I don't want to do that. So, John, go ahead and share a little bit.
Huh?
Go ahead and share a little bit.
That was my phone acting up.
Yeah.
Get out the bathroom,
It's fixed. My bad. So what'd you say?
Go ahead and share a little bit about the early, what's the name?
Oh, okay. So, like Elgin was saying, I'm not sure if he had one or two shows before we actually reached out to him. So I talked to Jonathan. I was like, hey, you listen to Elgin's show, right? So, because we was in the CFR, there was a group, the Church Folk Revolution, that's what that is, CFR. We was in the group, and me and Jonathan and Elgin, like, most of the time when we comment on posts, like, we have the same thought processes going into posts. And just kind of felt the kindred spirit with Elgin. And then we just reached out to him, and he was cool. From the jump, he was like, this ain't about me. This is about us. You know, Elgin kind of set the stage from the beginning. This is all about us, not about me. That's why he wanted to get rid of the Elgin and the twins. So no hierarchy whatsoever. We talked about it. And it was, in the beginning, it was really challenging because we still had our same mindsets that we had when we were actually in church. We was fresh out of church. Most of us was. It was just like October 2011. And so when we do shows, we have to do a whole bunch of studying and challenging and back and forth. I think when we first started, we talked at least 3 times a week about the show before we went on Sundays. But we would have to study on our own and do all this stuff. And it was incredibly challenging, but it was great because it forced us to get into our word and actually study, whereas when we was in church, the only time we studied when it was time for us to preach. So we built up our relationship and everything. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Rob and let him talk about his experience and how he came. I'm sorry,
real
go ahead.
quick, though, John. Just to speak on the challenging aspect initially, because we're coming out of the church where hierarchy is very visible but also invisible. Invisible from the standpoint of those people who have more, quote-unquote, biblical knowledge are looked at and, revered in a manner that others are not. So it was some subjects between the 3 of us that one might have been stronger at. And plus you got 3 alpha males, like 3, no doubt about it, men trying to, work together to create a platform, but all the while shedding any sort of, it's all about me type of mentality. And it was moments where it was, no dominance, fighting that hierarchy. It was challenging, but it wasn't something like, we had to get on each other about. It would be just in conversations like, yo, you talk too much. Like, yo, you ramble on. Stop doing that. You say a lot, But it was always in love, and through that, we built not only a great platform, but developed a lifelong relationship amongst us. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
True that.
And then comes now we had another brother, Ty Brown Jr. He was with us for maybe a month or 2 on a few shows, but
I think so.
And shout out to Ty Brown Jr. He always say I say his whole name, but shout out to that brother. He was with us for a little bit, and just the chemistry wasn't there, or the timing wasn't right for us to be on the show together. So he was with us for a little while. And then we brought Rob along. Rob came on the show. He listened to a couple of shows. He called into a show while he was supposed to be at church. Armor Bearer. He brought it to the Armor Bearer show. He probably was at church, so he went to the bathroom to call us for real.
Nah.
So he called in, and so Rob, share that story a little bit.
So I had been following you guys, Elgin and John and Nathan. I've been following you guys on social media. We were all Facebook friends already. And I had come across CFR, the Church Folk Revolution, and, was following along a little bit. But, all of that was really new to me. Now, mind you, I'm still knee-deep in the church. But these dudes did an Armor Bearer show. And at the time, I was an armor bearer. And I can't remember if I think I was still, I was still in the church, but that particular Sunday I was off. And I just didn't go to church. I stayed out so I could listen to the show. And I decided to call in, and it got real interesting. To hear Elgin tell it, they gave me that work that day. But to hear him tell it, but nah. So if you go back and listen to that show, we did 2 of those shows. You can hear, just like Jonathan was sharing earlier, that we were kind of fresh out of church and all of that. Well, I was, like I said, I was still in church. I was still knee deep. You can hear what we call mad church disease. You can hear it all in everything I was saying, because I went back and listened to that show to kind of compare where I was then to where I am now, and you could completely hear the mad church disease. But I called in and I actually let these guys cross-examine me as a active armor bearer in the church. And, because I was, my check engine light had come on, I had started kind of mentally checking myself out, but I was still going. So my body was still there, but my mind was like, man, what's going on here? So doing this show helped me out a whole lot of my progression in breaking away from the church system and all of its trappings and getting into a clearer and just a better relationship with Christ. So, yeah, it's bittersweet. Yeah, it's bittersweet, but it's just time. We've done a whole lot of really good shows. And I'm going to pass the mic, and we'll get into all the whys and stuff later, but I'll pass the mic so these other brothers can share. Yeah. And then we'll open up the phone lines a little bit later.
We didn't really give you, when we say gave you that work, or when I've said it, it was one of the shows where we actually had somebody from the church call and allow themselves to be put in the hot seat. Like amongst us, we have a term where we call it Shark Tank.
That's
and what
right.
Shark Tank is when one person says something that may be a little blurry, maybe a little MCD-ish, you know what I mean? And everybody just go in asking questions. But if you're in the Shark Tank, if you're the one who's getting bit with the questions, you really can't defend yourself. You really can't come out swinging. The only way you can come out swinging is if you answer those questions properly. Because if you happen to slip into your feelings, that's bloody over. Then it's really over.
It's worse.
You know what I mean? But with Rob called in and really put himself out there, man, and just expose himself in a manner that a whole lot of people wouldn't do. Like, we've had people where that will call in and we would challenge their views. But Rob was on some like, yo, I'm going to expose myself because I want some help and some clarity in this situation. And we would not let Rob back down. Like, it wasn't no open-ended questions. It was like, yo, why are you doing this? What's motivating this? What's doing this? Like, pushing this dude, which, you know what I mean, really, as he states, help his progression, man, and his growth. And it's something that we have done personally amongst ourselves. Like, Shark Tank used to be a daily phenomenon. Like, right. It just used to be what we were about. I mean, not to say that we don't do it now, but in the midst of all of us growing, man, it was something that is incredibly necessary. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I appreciate. I really appreciate. I wouldn't change a thing about that process and what happened, and I really appreciate it. Helped me out a lot.
So fast forward a little bit, and Eldridge goes on a little hiatus, so he's about to go on a hiatus. He has other things lined up on his plate, and so it was like, well, we can get those times that Eldridge's not with us. Let's bring somebody else on. And I'm not sure if I think we chose LL because he would call it. Andre just kind of like, Andre was he was the Johnny Gill of the group.
Wow.
Wow.
Andre would call, and he was a faithful call, and always had some great insight. And we were like, come on, little ninja, we'll let you in. And we let so Andre has, and when Andre came on board, Andre was like, man, and his contributions to the show are, you can't even say how big his contributions have been. So, Dre, I just want to give you those props right now because you came in and you did a lot for the show, to help further the show.
No doubt.
Right.
Props.
And my man came on the show blasting, though. Dre was like no holds, because he came in at a stage where we were at a different place in growth. Like, we were reformed IC terrorists. Like, we really wasn't bombing on the IC like we first were. So we was kind of chill with it. We would, throw some haymakers. Dre came on the show like Tyson in his prime, just throwing bombs every time he got on the mic, was just destroying any argument. And we just be sitting there like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And in the background, Nathan would be on some, if he say one more time.
Hey, those were for mercy though, because Dre was like lively throat punching people.
So let me say to Dre real quick and LL. So like Jonathan said, we were all taking turns being on hiatus. We was we needed a break, so we took some time off. And amongst ourselves, we were talking like we're gonna bring these two brothers in, let them co-host for us while we on vacation, right? When we all got back, it was like, how we gonna let these brothers go? And we honestly tried, but we didn't try really hard, but because they weren't taking a hint. So we was like, oh, well, they're a great addition anyway. But go ahead, Dre.
Boy, you need to listen, man. You need to unpack that because that sounds awful.
Well, I mean,
we try to let y'all go from the standpoint of our concern was having enough mics for everybody, having enough time for everybody, that the show was going to be overloaded with voices. It had nothing to do with your contributions or lack of contribution. It was always like, man, how are we going to be able to float a show? Because we had, there's certain members of CFR who would call in and would just try to hijack the show because they were so long-winded. They didn't want to hang on the show. They just didn't want to call in and contribute. They wanted to call in to be a part of the panel. So some shows we would have like 9 people on the panel. Like, so that was the concern and the reason why we were trying to cut y'all off. I don't want to make it seem like, more savage than John was describing just now.
And at the end, we couldn't let them go. We couldn't. Because they were our brothers. We could not let them go because they had been so faithful and they had contributed. Did I just really say faithful? They had contributed so much to us. It was like, man, we just, they here. They doing a great job. They here.
Yeah, true.
We ain't letting them go. And we ain't letting them go. And LL, let me tell you about this brother, because he was so young. He's so much younger than all of us.
Yep.
and the wisdom that you hear coming out of this young man's mouth is astounding. That's kind of how old he was. I was like, wow. How does him being so young have all his knowledge and
he puts me in awe all the time.
It's special. He's special. That's all I am. He's special. So, you know, not to toot your horn there, El, but you are special, man. Go ahead. Tell us a little bit about yourself. You know, Mac?
You don't want to toot his horn.
Oh. Yeah, we were all on CFR together. So when El and the twins got the show popping, of course, I was always calling in because y'all were like prime time, and the other twins, I guess I can't say their names on the radio. They were trying to go ahead like that show ever. And I was like, what?
Here we go.
Negro, please. So
that was hilarious.
It kind of started out as a for those in the background, it was a CFR moment for us. It was two sets of twins we had in CFR. And the other set of twins had their show, and the twins and L had their show. And I don't think it was a unspoken kind of thing going on, but yeah, we all knew that L and the twins dropped the show. So I was a regular caller. I was on the chat room too because again we all thought the same, and I was fresh, like 5 years out of the system. From 2005, so I had a lot to add because I kept seeing stuff, and I'd been in like thousands of churches and was not getting feel on anything. So I guess the wisdom that I had was pretty much the stuff that you all had as well. It was just fresh seeing it from a younger guy, but I loved it. And so when the invite came in, I didn't know y'all was trying to kick us off, Nate. Why
you say Nate?
Nah, that was all John, bro. I'm gonna tell you the truth. That was all John.
I'm bad. Yeah. When you come back to the Shy, it's real.
On site.
I didn't know that was going on. I felt like so welcome because I had never had a platform to speak about whatever was going on in the church outside of CFR. And I definitely wasn't trying to hit the people up on my friends list to let them know, like, oh, no, this is totally wrong. So that was the first outlet I had was the show. And instantly, like, we all clicked. It was like I had known y'all. I'd never been out east like that, so I was, like, learning, like, where you all were from and, you know, how you all were and stuff like that. And it really became a bonding moment for me because I don't have, like, older brothers like that. So on top of all of that, all of us making sense, all of us hitting the same points, all of us blasting off on people together, I never experienced that. So it woke me up to a degree that the IC was horrible, yes, but also I can fight the system because I had been watching a lot of movies like that too where I was like, yeah, we're going to be against the system. And then this was the catalyst being with you all. So that's when I got involved, and, man, I'm glad y'all brought me on, man. I'm so glad y'all did.
All right.
But you know, the funny thing is, man.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
The funny thing is, this show has really crossed over from the spiritual aspect of dealing with spiritual topics to actually helping us on the physical side. This show, for me, has really helped me stay in the faith. It helped me, and when I say stay in the faith, it helped me not reject the faith. Because after being rejected by the church, which many find is the equivalent or the symbol of the faith, after being rejected there, you're on this island where no one is reaching out to you, no one is being ecclesia-ish, everyone is just kind of blackballing you. I see why people reject the faith based off of that, but having this brotherhood, man, there's times where we talk each other off of the ledge and doing things in our actual lives that, man, if you knew some of the things that we have encountered in our personal lives, some of the decisions that we were almost going to make, some of the decisions that we did make, some of the times that we've actually literally kept each other from going and making a decision that would lead us into jail or a bad relationship or just the way we bailed each other out of different situations. It has been a true model to me of what Christ has designed the ecclesia to be. Without the Real Talk Radio in certain moments in my life, man, I'm pretty sure I would have ended up rejecting the faith. because I couldn't find what Scripture was designing or describing. It was something that I felt like was unattainable until I met these brothers, and that's real rap. Without it, I'm sure I would have abandoned the faith. I'm sure, no question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's some times where we've confessed things to one another, and you know we've held each other accountable. And in those times where a brother comes forward, that wasn't the Shark Tank time. Now John could be a little a-holish at times, but for the most part, he at that time of vulnerability, it wasn't time for the Shark Tank. It was time for compassion, and that's what we gave each other. You know, we would come, and I hate to use the term, it was a safe place for us to be and come and be vulnerable and share our weaknesses, stuff that we're struggling with, and both to encourage us to say, well, you shouldn't be doing that. Stop doing, that kind of stuff. And that was needed for all of us. All of us were in that place. But, Dre.
Yeah.
Dre, tell us.
So I had, I actually had come out the church like maybe, 3 years prior. I was on the fence. I'm like, should I find another church? And then at the time, I was like, something, I'm done with church. So I came across CF, and see if you notice the bond here, that the one thing that we have in common here is CFR, because I met all of you guys through CFR, and I think you all met us, each other through CFR as well. So big shout out to Church Folk Revolution. But I came across Elgin first, and I think it was Elgin. I was asking Elgin some questions about leadership. How leadership, what leadership looked like in the first century church, and he was like, "Well, no, I don't. I don't profess to know all of that stuff, but I tell you what you do. Go look into this book. Go read this book, and go read that book, and see, see what it says." So I'm doing all of this, you know what I'm saying, and we're having a conversation, and I was like, I mentioned something about a radio, and he was like, "Well, why don't you come listen to my radio show?" I'm like, "You got a radio show?" "Yeah, I got a radio show." Gave me all the information, and next thing you know, I'm listening every weekend. I'm checking you guys out, and there was a lot of hot button topics that I had just recently studied. See, there I go with the again. That I just recently studied, and I was able, to come in and basically contribute to the show. And when you guys asked if I could come on, I was like, hey, what can I say? Yeah, I'll come on. It was an honor to even be asked of you guys. You know what I'm saying? It's one thing to be a caller to the show and share your experiences or share your knowledge. It's another thing to be asked into the brotherhood. You know what I'm saying? You guys, I don't know if you guys realize the type of impact that you guys had on my life. And I'm quite sure that we've all had, crazy impact on each other's lives, but my search for the truth in the institutionalized church, I would not have known where to look. I wouldn't have known how to obtain it if it wasn't for Real Talk Radio. And that's just the God's honest truth.
And I'm going to keep it all the way 100 with you too, Dre. Not just with Dre, but with everybody on the broadcast. When me and the twins first kicked this off, man, we had conversations about letting other people come on and be a part of it. And after we had some people call and be a part of it and try it out, we got to a point, man, where we was like, yo, we ain't let nobody else come on. We ain't let, because some of the people that we had involved, their perspectives and their views didn't link up and match with us. And if their views did match up, there was something about them that didn't allow them to gel with the rest of us. So it was just like, yo, we're going to fall back on that. And even if somebody does come and participate for a while, there's going to be a certain level of distance. We keep them. We're not going to bring them all the way into the brotherhood because of what we have right here. We don't want nobody to come through and to somehow cause division or whatever type of foolishness amongst us, because we knew how important what we had or what we have is to each other and as a group. So that's been one of the saving graces about this group, man, this brotherhood, is that we've never had somebody internally try to sabotage what we do. Now, within CFR, that has taken place, but we have always maintained, this is what Real Talk Radio is. This is how Real Talk Radio gets down. This is what we do. We're going to make sure we maintain that standard. And that has been, because of that standard, we have been able to model a level of consistency for as long as we have, man.
Right. And just to piggyback on what Elgin was saying, it's like we watched people. Like we watched Dre, we watched LL, we watched all the people we brought on, and we listened to them, their comments, and saw how they reacted and different stuff like that. And that's one thing that's lacking in the church. They don't watch people. They just give them position. And they may be good at this. That don't mean they're good as a leader or being able to lead people. But we kind of made sure that the fit was right. And we learned that from experience. But I just want to share that's something that the church, they don't do. They don't really watch it because they don't know people. So.
Yeah. And speaking of CFR, there was a lot going on within CFR. CFR had its place and CFR had its role, and Real Talk Radio had its role within CFR. See, we weren't quite like CFR, the Church Folk Revolution, and other shows that were on the CFR radio network. We were our own separate, distinct thing, and that was the time CFR went through a few splits. They split up a couple of times, and one time CFR was down for a while, but Real Talk Radio maintained. Real Talk Radio, we stayed in our lane doing what we do.
Yep.
And the CFR Radio slowly died off, but Real Talk Radio maintained what we do because of the core that we had and the love and the trust we had in each other. And that was, it was hard to take, and it was a good thing at the same time, because we knew what we wanted to do. We knew who our target audience was. And somebody made a comment on one of our YouTube videos and said, it's a shame that you guys don't have more subscribers because the stuff that you guys say is great and more people need to hear it. And it was like, that's our plot. That's our lot. We take, we send to who God sends us to. The people who need to hear it.
Yeah. And that was never our objective. We was never in it. And that's one of the reasons why there were certain shows and certain topics, man, we would not touch with a 10-foot pole because we wanted to maintain a certain level. It was just like, yo, we're not here. We're here for the listeners, but we're not here for the listeners. We're not looking to do provocative shows that some of the other hosts who we love and respect from CFR, their lane is the more provocative topics. Their lane is the more controversial news issues within the institutionalized church. Our objective was always for people to be able to have freedom in Christ. That's it. Like, yo, so when we're talking about drinking, cussing, and smoking Christians, it wasn't to examine what the Scripture stated. It was like, yo, we just want you to have freedom that we have in Christ that Scripture talks about. So that's where we're here, for you to get that. Because once you get that, man, listen. Go ahead, Nathan.
Now, this is Dre. People need to understand that, the Bible talks about, there's a job for everyone in the body of Christ to do. Okay? Their job is to allow people to know who's in their community, who's doing what's taking place. It started off with Bishop Eddie Long, you know what I'm saying? Everyone needed to know what was going on with this stuff. And, CFR even had a point where every Friday they were profiling pedophiles in the church. You understand what I'm saying? Our whole thing was, like Elgin said, allowing people to understand what type of freedom you have now that you are out of the institutionalized church system. That's our job. It's not that we can't profile pedophiles in the church. It's just that it's not our role. That was their role, and they did very well doing that. But we have a role, we have a job that we had to do, and that's where God had us. That's what we were meant to do.
Yeah, whoever just walked into Denny's, could you please go to a quiet place, please? Thank you. And there's somebody's vibrating phone again, and So, and I'd like to again, Nathan gave you props, Dre, man, and LL, man. But again, man, LL, your wisdom, and then Dre, when you came on, you brought like this whole new slick production value to Real Talk Radio, man, and we definitely appreciated that. There was, you could just tell a marked improvement in the production value of the show. The intros, the outros, all that type of stuff, man. So, we definitely appreciate your contributions. And they call me the the enforcer, the grammar Nazi, all that type of stuff, because I bought actual like radio experience with terrestrial radio to the show, so it would never be stuff that comes across on the air, but just in our conversations, private conversations before the show. So within RTR, man, everybody did have a role and a job and a strength that they brought to the table. But yeah, I'm glad you guys went into what Real Talk Radio's lane was, and it was to provide like a safe haven for those people that were coming out of the institutional church, those people that were in the church whose check engine light was coming on, and they were wondering, what they were doing and, how long they should be there and all of that type of stuff. And we bought a lot of, we just created a easy space for those people to come to, man. And that's Real Talk Radio's lane. And we really took a lot of pride in that.
Mm-hmm. And I want to put this out here too, because I want to say something that we never wanted to do. We never wanted to be viewed as special, as better than, as bigger than, as anybody other than your homeboys. Because that's all we looked at each other as. We say it a lot on the show, and we mean it, because we just some regular brothers. There's nothing special about us, and we never wanted to be seen as anything other than your brother. That's it.
And that was a fear of ours, man.
It was. It still is.
Yeah, it still is.
Some people wanted to put us on pedestals.
To this day.
We rejected that, man.
Yeah. Yes. We never claimed to have all the answers. We never said we was right 100% of the time. But we still got what we said. You didn't have to agree with that. That was the good part of it. We always say you don't have to agree with what we say.
Right.
That's the part of growing. Let's talk about it.
That's why we were so transparent on many of the shows, man. I'm telling you, if folk would go back and listen to some of the shows, if you can just see the level of transparency from grown men talking about personal, private pain and situations, man, and just be like open with us. That transparency came from a place of like, yo, I'm not your pastor. I'm not your bishop. I'm just a brother who loves the Lord, and these are some of my issues. These are some of the things that I battle with. You know what I mean? And just allowing people to be like, yo, if you have that same issue, like, yo, Jesus still loves you. Get back up. You know what I mean? Work on that joint and move forward. But don't be condemning yourself. Don't be cast. That ain't the place. Don't come here to condemn us because we're not going to condemn you. But that transparency, man, was so integral and important for us. But that fear of being on that pedestal, it was like if people would come and try to put us on that pedestal, you would get such a level of anger and rebuke from us so quick, like, no. That's not who we are. We just some fellows that love the Lord, man, who has a platform to talk about some issues. Don't put us up any higher than that.
That's it. None of us are seeking the spotlight. We just wanted to share with my platform. And I thank God that He allowed us to remain humble and approachable. And I think that, and it's sometimes hard for us, the people hear us on the radio all the time, they get to know us in a sense, like they know us personally. But then we get to some of the inboxes that we get. They're like, oh, man, it's the great twin. Man, I'm not great, bro.
No, man, bro.
Somebody has said that to me. Man, I can't believe I'm getting to talk to one of the great hosts. Man, I'm not great, bro. I struggle just like you, and
probably with more than what you. I probably more than what you struggle with.
Exactly.
Right.
Man,
Shoot.
it's just what El said.
So,
still like a big booty and a smile. So I mean, right? You know what I mean? Just real life. Like we still flawed. LL, go ahead, bro. You was about to say something.
No, I was just dropping that little bit of wisdom out there, and it's still like you said earlier. Like if people heard of the stuff that we've been through as brothers, like pulling each other from, like literally banging our head against the wall or jumping the bridge, it gets real with us, and we probably, that I know of, some of the most humblest brothers that have opened up a lot dealing with each other. And that's hard to do for men all together, but we've done it. So, like, yeah, I was kind of getting those same kind of messages where it's like, oh, this dude, this LL, like, nah, bruh, just call me Noah. It's all good.
So let's talk about a little bit why we are ending the show. What led up to us coming to this conclusion to end the show? Because that was a question that we got a lot when we first made the announcement. It was hard to come up, to everybody come to an agreement on actually ending the show, and we made the decision. What led up to it, Elgin, in your opinion?
Well, for me, I had already stopped doing Real Talk Radio. I think I stopped twice. The first time I stopped was because I had been doing it for so long, man. Every Sunday after Sunday for years, I was doing Real Talk Radio. So I was studying, and it began to feel like more of an obligation and more work than, a passion or enjoyment. So it almost became rather legalistic in my thinking towards the way I was preparing the show. Like I felt a pressure to do the show that was very similar to the pressure that I felt when I was in the church. So I made a call, man, and called the fellows up and like, yo, I need to step back, and this is a reason why. And to be honest with you, it was an incredibly difficult conversation because you have that feeling of letting your brothers down. It wasn't like, oh, my God, the show can't go on because, I ain't there. It was like, yo, we are a unit. You know what I mean? So for me, it was always that, that question that I'm always asking myself, what is motivating me to do this? Which helps me self-examine. And when I found and realized, like, yo, I'm doing it because it worked now. It's an obligation. Yeah. It's no longer freedom in doing this. So that's when I stepped away. And then the second time I stepped away is because I wanted to tackle some other issues in my personal community and do it on a different platform. So I didn't want what I was saying and doing personally to interfere. It was just like, yo, I can't give Real Talk Radio all of my attention or the attention that it deserves as a host, so I'm going to fall back. I'm still going to be in the fold and, you know, offer insight and wisdom or whatever the case may be. But as far as being a host, if you desperately need me, I'm there. But for the most part, bro, I'm going to go do my thing over here. And it's all love. No malice, no like, yo, I can't believe it. It was like, but I had to be transparent about it. I can't come to, I couldn't come to everybody on some BS. I had to be like, yo, this is where my heart is at. What's your thoughts? What do you think? And we talked about it. But that's how I got to that point.
And every time we've asked Elgin to come, hey, Elgin, can you come do this show with us? There was no hesitation. He's always said, I'm there. If somebody couldn't run the board or whatever, I got it. I'll do it. He's always been there. He's been true to his word. I can say that about Elgin.
Like the great Barbara Walters.
Oh,
so, John, what are your thoughts?
He just called me an old white woman. All right. Okay.
He did.
All right.
He did.
John, what are your thoughts, man?
So for me, most of it, while we ending, is I think we just tired. I know it's the Bible says don't be weary and well doing, but you know, we all have lives outside of Real Talk Radio. You know what I mean? And life sometimes happens, and life gets in the way, and we press on. And plus, you know, it was something we used to always say when we used to have a discussion about what our topic was going to be. And I used to hold the mindset like, yeah, we're going to do this. Even though we already covered it, we got new listeners and all that stuff. But I heard Rob say something recently that changed my perspective on it. And Rob said, man, we got plenty of content already out there. And it changed my perspective. And, you know, for me and Rob, we never, like, had arguments about it. We used to challenge each other back and forth about it, especially during the tithing shows. But now, you know, when he said that, it changed my perspective on it. I kind of agree with him now. But, you know, we're tired. We got lives. We got stuff going on outside of Facebook, outside of Real Talk Radio. I think it's just time.
Mhm. Yeah.
Rob?
I agree, man. I mean, just to piggyback off of what John said, and on the flip side of that, he said that, you know, what I said recently kind of changed his perspective, but what he was saying for the longest time kept us going. Like, he would be like, man, listen, we got a constant influx of new listeners, and it's not about us, it's about them. So that kept us going for a long time. And then, you know, every now and then we would get these inboxes, these emails or whatever about how somebody's life has been, you know, just changed, or how they've been blessed by something that we've said about one of the broadcasts. And those things kept us going too. But again, just again piggybacking off of John, like a lot of times we were struggling to come up with content. We were struggling to keep the show fresh because we have dissected, sliced and diced, analyzed, examined the institutional church system every which way. We've talked about it. I mean, have we not, like, ad nauseum? And we've got, and the content is there. I mean, we've got hundreds of shows on YouTube. The content is there. And we had this running joke. We would joke about it all the time. But when we would struggle to come up with content, we, in our personal chats, one of us as a joke would be like, all right, man, let's just talk about tithing. And guess what? Sometimes we actually were like, okay, let's talk about tithing again. Because you know what? Again, we said we were going to be completely transparent with y'all this morning. We promised ourselves that, and we're going to be transparent. We can do tithing shows in our sleep. Like, we could autopilot tithing shows. We never talked about them beforehand. We could just get on the show and freestyle, not even study the scriptures. We were just doing tithing shows on autopilot because of the fact that we were struggling to come up with new content,
and we had these new listeners. We kept using that kind of auto response. We were convincing ourselves, yeah, we got new listeners, man. Let them hear this content. But then it's like, but the logic was, well, we got like already 17,000 shows on tithing alone, so why are we doing another one? So the reality started to set in. Bruh, let's just be real with each other. We're struggling to keep this show fresh. We've already talked about the institutional church system every which way but loose. It might be time to hang up the mics. And then, so we tried other stuff to keep ourselves fresh. We took that. I don't know if you guys remember, the listeners, but we took like a 3-month hiatus. We didn't do any shows for 3 months. Mm-hmm. And we thought that was going to rejuvenate us. Like, man, let's okay, I'm ready. I can't wait to get back on. But even then, when we got back, it was like, here we go. I gotta do this show in the morning. It was becoming a chore. You see what I'm saying? So then, instead of doing it every Sunday at 10, we came up with the idea of doing it every first and third Sunday. Let's take every other week off. Huh?
Yeah, every other. First it was every other, then it went to every first and third.
Exactly, because of those, if you remember in church, a lot of times when there was a month with a fourth Sunday, you didn't have church, so we didn't have a show. So, we came up with that little thing to kind of try to keep us fresh. That has not worked because we still wake up on those Sunday mornings where we have to do the show like, man, I really enjoyed my Sunday off last week. You know what I mean? So, and I mean, we have, like my man said, we have lives. I mean, L's got a newborn, Dre's got a young baby. I mean, we have lives. You know what I'm saying? So we realized how much we were enjoying our Sundays off. And it just came time to say, listen, man, let's just face reality and let's ride off into the sunset. So that's what's been going on. And really, this has been going on for the last at least year. But, the listeners, you guys couldn't tell, but we've been kicking this around for a year or more. So.
Yeah. So I don't know if LL and Dre is ready to go as everybody else. Why don't y'all share what y'all thought of us ending this?
Well, for me, I wasn't ready to go, but I also understood that after a while you get burnt out. I mean, we came. There were times when we came up with fresh ideas for old stuff. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, it was still the same stuff, You get burned out after a while. I really wasn't ready to let it go, But at the same time, yes, I do have a life. I got other things that are going on right now. Maybe now is the time to start and focus on these other things, And so it's bittersweet for me. It's bittersweet for me because, I know that we can be seen as a voice for that person who was sitting in the pews and has a question to ask but is afraid to ask the question because of the ridicule that they would receive from the leaders of that church. We're that voice.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And so, I know that we can still be that voice in different aspects. It was just time to go.
Yeah, it would. I definitely didn't at first feel it was time to go, but the tension that, of course, you all go through, and I feel it as well. Again, we all have different families. You all have kids. I don't, especially newborn with L, slightly newborn with Dre. If it started to boggle you all down, it started to boggle me down. But as we found out, there's absolutely nothing else literally almost to talk about with DIC. We've laid our stories bare to let people hear them. We've discussed everything with people calling in who's had similar situations from around the world. We had callers from around the world. We've had emailers from, all points of America. We've had people portray their stories and give their synopsis on things that happened to them in the church. And it's like it's that fresh cut that they feel when they feel that angst of coming out, or when they feel that pain of still being inside of it. We vibe on that, and we feel that again. And I think that's what kept us going, is the fact that we don't want another brother or sister to feel some type of way about the system that did all of us wrong. And suffice it to say, we can't save everybody. And I think that's where I had to come to the realization of we definitely can't. There are a lot of people that's still in the system that probably will come out. And it's like, John always says at the beginning of every show, we plant and water seeds. And for a time, it felt like we had to be the person that pulled them out as well. It's like, almost in a sense, we would play God if we kept going. And, we're human. And at the end of the day, it has to stop somewhere. And, of course, we have a catalog of shows that anyone can listen to. And it feels some type of way, because it's almost like when Martin's last episode came on, to keep it real, we didn't want that show to end. Like that was the best sitcom in the 90s. So we were the best church sitcom that no one ever thought about. No one ever thought to do this until we did it, until L came out. Had God lead him to do it, brought Twins on, brought Rob and Dre on, and brought me on to make this happen. And then it feels like we're taking that step back from stuff that we saw, like the Cosby Show ended, and it was like, man, like where do we go? So as hard as it is for people out there listening to us, it's harder on us, because we were the people that felt some type of way about this system, and we call people out. And it's almost like how if Martin and Malcolm would have passed the torch to a younger generation, that's where we are now. We've marched a mountain stone. We've talked about it in thorough theatrics. I don't know what else to say. So it's hard, but it has to happen.
Yeah. All good things will come to an end. And for me, because I think sometimes we guys, the listeners, only see a certain part of us. Like, you didn't see the inside. Like, people don't think that we actually fought. Like, we fought each other. Like brothers fight. Everybody has had a fight with. I think LL is the only one who hasn't. And Dre, y'all haven't really gotten to fights like we've gotten into fights. You witnessed some of them, but y'all, we fought and argued, like hardcore fighting and arguing. So we've done that. That's happened. Right, you witnessed it. I don't think I really got into it, but that being said, we never hated each other. There was never no malice, no falling out. We even fought on the air a few times. I mean, I'm pretty sure y'all had disagreements on the air a few times. But with that being said, I'm more in the camp with Elgin, as he said, for his reasons, how it's becoming more of a chore, like an obligation, like an expectation, instead of excitement. When we first started, is somebody smacking extra loud on the phone? There was an excitement about doing the show. And now, it's been about 2 years for me. It's been about 2 years where I was like, I'm ready to quit. It's about 2 years where I almost quit. But the brothers were like, nah, let's keep going. And I stayed in because, as I said, I didn't want to let the crew down. I didn't want to let the group down. I didn't want to let the listeners down. But on the inside, I was like, man, I'm tired. I don't want to do this anymore. And then sometimes I was feeling a little overwhelmed, just like, man, I got to get the show together. I got to get these pictures. I got to go and log in to Blog Talk Radio, create the show. I got to do it. And I got to make the YouTube video. Ain't nobody helping me. Blah, blah, poor me. I was having a pity party. I ain't going to lie.
Yeah, you did. We called you out on it.
Transparent. Yeah, and they did. They called me out on it. And I was like, so I don't care what y'all talking about. I'm still having a pity party. That's where I was, I was having a pity party. Like, y'all need to step in and help me. And that's why I say Dre came in and helped tremendously, especially with the YouTube part. He came in helping with the audio, with a lot of that stuff. And that was very, very much appreciated on from my part to him stepping in and help, especially with the YouTube, because, it's time consuming. It can be very time consuming. And then, I was feeling a little resentful for these guys, like, all y'all going to do is call in. And, I was feeling resentful. But I still did the show, and it's time to go. It's time. Still love these cats. And they gave me my props. They're like, yeah, we see you. We recognize what you do, Nation, so stop acting like a little B. And little B.
Yeah.
So, that being said, Rob asked was I big man a little bit. I was big man, bro. I was big man. But we're going to open up the line to some callers. We got a little less than an hour left. So we want you guys to please call in, share your stories, your likes and dislikes. We helped you if we made you mad, and then you start loving us again, whatever. Share. Area code 718. You are first in the queue, and you are live on Real Talk Radio. What's your name and your comment?
This is Irene calling from the Bronx. I
So,
really
Irene.
appreciate all you guys. And I want to say, too, that all you said about the IC, that just kept things in perspective, not that you all were trying to tell people not to go to church. I want to make that clear. But now, in fact, I went to church a couple of weeks ago. But now when I do go, I go in with a different perspective about church, about the IC. And I'm more, I want to say I'm more knowledgeable, and I keep everything in their perspective. And from listening to you guys, I'm able to take some of the stuff that you all said and tell other people. So I appreciate y'all.
Bless God.
And the perspective, I put things in a different perspective now. And it was just a process, going through a process and coming out and knowing that it's okay. Because at one point, when you come out of the IC, you looked at like something is wrong with you.
Yeah.
But now, at this point, if somebody asks me, I just tell them I'm not, so I don't, I don't belong to no church. I don't, But anyway, I appreciate every one of you all, Elgin, Andre, Leonard, Rob, Lenoa, even those that contributed, Marcellus, Marjorie, or TJ, everybody. I really appreciate you all.
We appreciate you too, man.
Yeah.
Maybe sometime, if something comes up, you all will come on and do a special, like they do on television.
Oh, yeah. We're going to do a reunited joint.
Okay, now.
We're like
We're going to be on Unsung. Look for us on Unsung. All right. Appreciate you, Sister Irene. Appreciate you.
Yeah, we thank Sister Irene for her support. Yeah, we thank her for her long-time support, man. She's been definitely down with the show. Yep.
The phone number is 516-418-5903. That's 516-418-5903. We would love to hear from you today. Area code 412, you are live on Real Talk Radio. Your name and your number. Name and comment.
Hey, Revolution Brothers, can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you. What's up, man?
LDR, what's
Hey.
up, brother?
Hey, it's so good to hear you guys at least one last time. I thank God for each and every one of y'all. Y'all know I have nothing but love for you, and I appreciate the shows throughout the years. At first, I wasn't vibing with Brother Big L. I wasn't vibing with you for a minute there in the beginning, because it was a process for me too. But when y'all say we plant seeds, water seeds, and let God give the increase, this show is a walking testimony of how to actually plant a seed, water that seed, and watch God do great works in the lives of people all around. You know,
right.
I mean, the fact that Rob is sitting there on the show after the grilling he got that day. Remember that show. I remember that show like crazy. He called in, he gave his thing, and then y'all took him to work. And it was a good thing. Planted that seed, and then a few months later, he's on all the time. And I'm sitting there like, when did Rob just get on? You know, but it's good. I thank God for y'all in this aspect. When I was, doing the CFR thing, I was just a regular caller, just like Dre, just like Lenoa, just a regular caller, on the CFR shows, on the Real Talk Radio show. But we had one day where we had a testimony show. And I was back in my garage cleaning out my cab, listening to the show, and I decided to call in, during one of these testimony shows that y'all would have so often. And basically, after the result of the show, that gave me enough courage to reach out to start doing what I'm doing right now. So I started off, called TJ, and talked to Miss Justice, and then in about a month or so, we were on the air. Doing our show for about a year and a half or so. And then after that, I went solo and took from the radio and went to YouTube. And I just thank God for the seed that y'all planted in my life during that time, and just beginning to go through. And just one thing, I thank God for this time and this season. Sometimes, and I know that I'm one of the ones that like to ramble on and hijack the show. But I promise I won't do it again. I know y'all was talking about me. I'm okay with that. But, everything is a time and a season. Ecclesiastes is right. There's a time for this, a time for that. And, when I heard that this was the last show, it wasn't that I got sad. I'm just like, all right, so they're moving on from what they're doing now. Big L, he's doing his thing. And I expect him to be more political, in what he's doing. I expect the twins to do other things. Big Dre, his YouTube thing is about ready to blow up. So, I mean, it's a time and season for all things. And from this time, it's cool that this is a wrap. But the next time, I'm still looking for great things from each and every one of you brothers. Just know that I love you. And one for the last time from me, Revolution.
All
right.
Revolution, my brother.
And that is truly one of our brothers, man.
Yeah.
Love that dude, man. Love some Leonard, man. That is a truly authentic brother right there who is truly one of our brothers, man. Nothing but love for that cat, man. Always.
Yeah. Then check out his YouTube channel. He's Brother Leonard, the Truth Seeker on YouTube. Please check his YouTube out. He's one of us. He's family.
Always.
You want to talk about somebody arguing? Me and Leonard, man. Me and Leonard argue. You know what I'm saying? But check this out.
About to say he wasn't vibing with Rob. I'm thinking
that's what I thought.
Me and Rob didn't get at it, and he's like, "Big L." I'm like, "Yeah, I can be abrasive. I dig it."
But nah. Yo, me and Leonard go at it, son. But check it out. That's my brother. That's my man. That's family. I love that dude. I can argue with him, but you can't. Man. You feel me?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I can argue with Leonard. You can't. I'm coming for your throat if you come at Leonard. So that's what it is.
Good brother.
All right. Area code 314-314. You're live. What's your name and your comments?
Hey, what's up, brothers? This is J-Mac. How y'all doing?
What's up, bro?
What's going on,
man?
I started to play this song in the background, man, but I thought, you know what, them brothers might hang up on me. I was going to play the Boys the Men song.
Yeah, we'd have definitely cut that.
Yeah, we'd have hung up on you. Yeah, that's pretty sure about that.
Hey, we got a history of that, too. Somebody playing a song they weren't supposed to.
Man, listen, bro.
You know what?
It'd be all out of fun and jokes, man. But hey, I just wanted to say that.
Thank you for listening to this week's.
Really? What was that?
I was like on the show.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to say, man, I appreciate you guys too, man. And I was actually, like, I think I told y'all this before, but for years, man, I felt alone and how I felt and how I thought. I've always been a critical thinker outside the box. A lot of things in church that were going on never made sense to me. Never really felt comfortable with. I just went along with it because I didn't know where else to go, what else to do. So, and then a few years ago, or a couple of years ago, things came to a head at my church, and then I ended up meeting. I was following David Lee and Brother Enoch Glover and some other folk on YouTube, and finally David reached back out to me, and then he introduced me to you guys, and I was like, oh man, it's a whole world of people out here that think like me, and I was just like, oh my God, and it was a blessing. But I would say that all the work that you guys done, the archives you made, and everything that you've done, man, has been a blessing to people, to encourage people to step forward in what they believe, and they don't have to feel alone. And even though I'm in St. Louis, there's a few brothers here who I've connected with, which is a good thing. But I'm glad to know that there's brothers all across North America, man, that have the same thing. But anyway, John, I want you to send me that link of Rob calling in and y'all grill him, because I ain't heard that one yet.
Hey, look, y'all. I think y'all are enjoying this a little bit too much, bro. You know what I'm saying? We need y'all to fall back.
Definitely, yeah.
Need y'all to fall back. It was called the Armor Bear. We did 2 shows. It's called the Armor Bear and then Armor Bear Part 2. So it's on YouTube. Check it out.
Hey, you're good brothers, Rob. I'm just messing with you, man.
No, it's all good.
All right.
It's all good.
All
I'm
right.
just playing.
All right.
All right. Thanks a lot,
Jay.
All right.
Appreciate it, Jay.
All right, Brother Jay.
All right, Jay.
Area code 757. 757. You're live. What's your name and your comment, please?
Hey, what's going on, fellas? This is Roger.
What's up, Roger?
What's up, man?
How you doing, Roger? Hey, everything's fine, man. Elgin, man, congratulations to the new addition to your family, man.
I appreciate that, brother. Thank you, sir.
And also got another Still a Nation brother in there.
Oh, you know what? You better
hang up on him. Hang up on him.
Hang up on this cat right now.
But anyway, hey, man, it's been great listening to you guys. I first came across your archive shows the early part of the year, and I was listening to them, and of course, everything that you all were saying, I would go back and research it. And so I was like, man, these brothers here are speaking the truth. And so as I listened on and on and on, man, and I would take it back to some of my church members when I was in the church. Of course, they were like, man, yeah, I don't know if I want to hear that. Anybody can say anything. I said, man, y'all might want to check these guys out. But of course, nobody ever did. But I'm really glad that I started listening to you guys. And I think I had called John one night a few months back when I was in Bible study. I was telling him that the pastor was saying if you don't come to church on Sunday, you're putting God second. You remember, John, when I called you on that? And I had to get some clarification. So, of course, I challenged him in Bible study about that. I told him he was wrong. And so, of course, I was still going. So recently, about a month ago, I just decided to come out. And when I decided to come out, and I was telling some of my friends, and of course, I got some backlash on it, and they was like, well, you don't see them guys personally, who you can talk to. Well, if you get sick and go to the hospital, are any of them guys going to come see you? But the pastor come see you. Them guys not going to come see you. I'm like, man, I'm not even worried about that. I'm just listening to these guys because they speak truth, and they don't bite their tongue about it. And I'm trying to put you guys on it, take a listen to it. And maybe y'all can come to a decision. And not one time have I been told anybody to come out to church. All I tell them is, look, don't judge me because I don't go or because I've stopped. Just because I've left building, I have not left God.
Right.
Amen.
But in the meantime, fellas, I really thank you guys for your teaching, and of course, like it's a ton of archive shows that I'm still listening to, still catching up on, and so I'm going to miss you guys, man, on live. But like I said, you guys got other lives and other things to do, and you've been greatly appreciated, man. Thank you very much.
Thanks for calling your support, man. We appreciate that, bro.
Stop being a Steelers fan on purpose.
Come on, man.
Stop that.
I bleed black and gold, baby.
And we don't care. But thanks for calling, man. Appreciate you, man.
Wow. He really just like that. All right. Wow. All right. Area code 501. 501. You're live. What's your name and your comment?
Hey guys, this is Tamara, and my little brother. Hey, and my brothers are shutting down. I'm really upset, but you know what? The good thing about it is the relationships have been built, and we can reach out to you guys whether you're on shows or not. So I want to thank you guys for the teachings that I've learned from you, from the words of wisdom I've gotten from you guys. When I'm wrong, I'm wrong. When I'm right, I'm still right. So, because y'all know I tell anybody that they didn't get me straight. I was mad, but you was right. So I thank God for the relationships that have formed with you guys, and I hate to see you go. But you guys have, like you say, you talk and talk and talk. That's it. So if people don't get it, it's because they don't want to get it. It's not because you didn't put it out there.
Mm-hmm.
I love you guys, and I wish you all well in endeavors. Elgin, that's a beautiful little girl you got.
Thank you, sis. Appreciate that.
And Dre, you know I already know, but you guys be good, and you take care of yourselves and each other.
No doubt, sis. We love you. We'll be in touch.
Okay.
All right, love you. Area code 314. 314, you're live. What's your name and your comment?
Hey, Brother Jake Trey here. God bless you, brother. Yes, sir. I just want to tell you guys, I love you, each and every one of y'all. I'm going to miss you. It's been a real blessing from CFR up to now, and just learned so much from you guys. And I'm just so grateful that God put you all together to do the work that you did. So, your work you're doing is not in vain. So if you think it's in vain, it's not in vain. It's blessed so many people, even the people that have been hard-hearted with the hard ground that the seed they're going to, they still listen. Their ground will soften up. And they going to listen to the word. But I just thank God for each and every one of y'all. And like Brother Leonard said, I know great things will come out from each and every one of y'all in the future. And God bless you. Keep doing what you're doing.
Appreciate it, brother.
All right.
Appreciate that, Dre, man.
Thanks, man.
All right.
Jay been with us for a long time, man.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Yes, he has. Let's see who is next. I think this is 412. 412, you're live. What's your name and your comment?
Know who this is.
412.
This month.
Press unmute. Unlock your phone.
Is it my turn?
It is
there we go.
Girl.
We knew it. We knew it
was you. So I mean,
how you know it was me?
Because it was only a couple 412 numbers.
Oh, yeah. I just want to call in. This is Miss Justice. Hello, everybody. I just wanted to call in and say thank you for y'all service, and thank you for the years that you put in for Real Talk Radio. It's awesome. And I just want to say I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you even with supporting me through the whole Brian Karn thing. I really appreciated that. And I'm just sorry to see y'all go. But I do understand. I think that I think more churches need to do this, honestly. Just know when to stop and close it and evolve. And instead of continuing to, have church when that wasn't really the purpose. You're supposed to have it, do it for a season, and then move on to something else. It's not to say that we won't get together or we won't do things, but in this format, it's just come to a close. And so I appreciate that as well, because people need to take a cue from that. So.
All right.
Thank you. Definitely appreciate that. Thanks for your support and everything. Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't cry.
Bye, Jonathan.
Better not cry.
Goodbye. No. I'll see you in the inbox.
And holla at Dwayne Wade.
Dwayne Wade.
You sound like Whitney Gilbert from a different world. Oh, my God. Anyway, that's our sister, man. Miss Justice, man. We appreciate her. Who else we got, man?
All right. We got 205. I think that's Alabama. What's your name and your comment?
What's up, fellas? It's Dustin, man.
What's up, man?
What up, Dustin? Not much. Just wanted to call and chime in and tell all y'all that I appreciate and respect each and every one of you for different reasons. I came into contact with you guys, through Facebook. I'm not sure exactly how it happened, but I'm sure we ended up on a post.
In the group? It was in the group.
I don't think it was in the. I don't know if it may have been in the group. That's what it was. That's what it was. When we started talking about the church and tithing and.
We got called demons. Remember we got called demons?
Yeah, we got. I don't think that was another time. It wasn't the first time. The first time was in a group. It was a little bit more civil. I think John reached out to me after that, and we got connected, and we talked, and we shared our stories and everything, and it was cool because we had gone through basically the same stuff, and I think that's kind of a common theme with a lot of people, and even you guys, in the way you guys form. But I appreciate each and every one of y'all because I think it's a need. It was a need. It has been a need. It still is a need for people to, they basically stop being scared of being honest and sharing the truth. Because I think that's a huge thing that we don't really get to do in church. Like we can share truth, but we're not able to add that. In each and every one of us, there's doubt. There's this don't make no sense. There's so much other stuff that we just aren't allowed to share or allowed to communicate. And so we try to get to truth without being honest, and we can't. It's impossible. And so I thank you guys for confirming in me and myself and my journey and where I am and where I was when I ran into you guys. Just the ability to be bold and be fearless and be honest, knowing your intentions are pure and dealing with the consequences. And so I appreciate all you guys, and I know all of y'all can kind of identify with that kind of thinking and that kind of approach. So I just wanted to say I respect each and every one of y'all. John, Jonathan, Rob, Noah, Trey, and everybody else associated, man. I salute to all y'all.
All right,
appreciate that, brother.
Appreciate it,
Thank you, bro.
All right, another caller. 773. You are live. What is your name and your comment?
Chi-Town.
Who's that? Hello?
773.
Yo, we got pranked again. Yo, we're at with them in a while. I reached the call earlier. Somebody call in and say some real crazy stuff and then hang up real quick.
I think that just happened.
No.
Because he hung up, turned on line, he hung up. It happened. Y'all know these happen all the time. Wow. So, all those accolades and stuff, man, is very, very humbling because, you know, and I think I can speak for everybody on this panel, everybody on this show, when I say that we never knew who we were touching. We knew somebody was going to get it. We knew more people would disagree and agree with us. But we never knew who we were touching and how the things that we say would affect them. And to hear all these people calling in and sharing their thoughts and sharing how we help them and how it sometimes even change their lives is humbling. It's very humbling. You know, because I just look like, say it again, I'm going to keep saying it, I'm just a regular dude. We all just regular dudes, man. And it's humbling to hear that. And I appreciate it, man. You know, it lets me know that God is real and God using me. And I thank God for using me to help somebody, for letting me be a vessel by which somebody can become closer to Him.
Right.
Because, you know, it's all about Him at the end of the day. It's all about Jesus. It's all about the relationship that people cultivate outside of church, outside of Real Talk Radio, outside of anybody else, but what you have with God. And if we can help you get a closer relationship with God, then our work is done. And if what we say can help you to somebody else that's in that sphere of influence, then we've done our job. We've done our job. Elton.
Yeah, man, that's pretty much all I wanted to accomplish, man, was just to help people have a better relationship with Christ. And we had to unpack a whole lot of things, man. One of the things that we unpacked was the idea of being closer or further away from Christ, or making sure that the things that you did, you know, people would say, oh, my God, how are you going to grow? How are you going to get better? You know, losing your salvation. Just allowing people to feel comfortable, man, in the position that they were currently in. Never trying to tell nobody to leave the church unless, you know, there was some times we told folks to leave the church. But that was only if you were in an abusive situation. Mm-hmm. Outside of that, man, one of the most humbling experiences has been the feedback we've received from doing this broadcast. I don't think people realize, man, the emotional roller coaster and the toll physically, mentally, and at times emotionally from doing this broadcast. It hasn't always been laughs and jokes. It's been some really trying times behind the scenes putting this broadcast on. I mean, I don't, and in transparency, it has been incredibly difficult at times to make sure we make it to 10 a.m. on Sunday morning. Just on the strength of our own personal lives being in flux, in shambles, we being in pain, whether it be physical pain or just dealing with life, man. It has not been always easy. But the one thing that we've always been able to do is to realize, hey, there are people out there, man, who are being manipulated intentionally, who are suffering underneath the oppressive system of the institutionalized church. If we can give them a good hour of peace, you know, and a safe haven just for them to come and share, because, you know, we've had people calling into the broadcast, man, who are not necessarily long-winded, but they've never had a place to share their story. So they'll just go on and on and on and on, and we had to learn how to be patient and gracious with these people, because this has been the first opportunity for them to be able to link up with somebody else that has the same situation that they've had. So it's been real humbling, man.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that we hear a lot is I thought I was alone. I didn't think there were other people. We hear that quite. That's one of the most things we hear is I thought I was by myself. And I've said that. I think everybody on this panel has said that at some point. I was glad to hear there's other people out there like me who feel the same way, who think the same way. And we are here. We're here. Like, you know, he said, just because we're not doing the broadcast, you can still reach us on Facebook. We have a small presence on Twitter. None of us are real big Twitter users. So we have a very small, but you can find us on YouTube. So we're still getting inbox. And we got a lot of hate mail, too. I don't want y'all to think that it was all hunky-dory. We got hate mail. And then sometimes the biggest thing we would have to do is some of the callers would call in, and they would try to take over the show and change the topic of the show to fit their narrative, their moons and gods and all this kind of stuff, and try to make it fit, try to make us see things from their point of view. You know, we had a lot of Hebrew Israelites call in, trying to change the narrative of the show. We got to deal with that. We got to learn how to deal with that. I mean, I think we've all had our times on air when we were going off on people in the chat room. Yeah. There's been times where we didn't know if we could even do a show because the show wasn't paid. This Blog Talk Radio ain't free. It's not free. Well, we like, how
we've never asked anybody for a dime. We've never reached out. We've never done a GoFundMe. We've never asked anybody for a dime to maintain the show, to do a bigger platform. It was just like, all right, we can't do it this week.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. That's it.
It was so much so to the point that whenever we did use our social media platforms to ask for donations just to help someone out that was in need, people didn't believe us, man. People thought we were on the sneak trying to get money on the low. Like, somebody literally reached out to us that was in dire straits. I mean, dire straits, and we had no other recourse but to reach out to our larger network to try to get some relief for these people. You know, we tried to our hand at helping people when we could, but like you said, man. All of the stuff that we do, all of these years, we've had to pay for this stuff. It's not free, but we've never asked for money. At no point did we ask for money to keep this going.
Nope. I remember one cat said, I ain't going to believe y'all unless I hear from somebody like Leonard. It's like, what? Okay. You don't want to give unless Leonard asks for it, then fine. Leonard asks.
Right. But that showed right there how people who were coming out of the institutionalized church still had that wall up, still had that guard up, so that anytime somebody who in quote-unquote leadership asked for money, it was a scam. It was, trying to rip somebody off. And that's been one of the things that we really worked hard on, trying to make sure that, hey, listen, we're not the IC. Like, we're not them. We're not doing things the same way they do. So even the way that we structured the show, it was just like, you notice, man, that in the beginning, we always had somebody pray us out of the show. Always. Somebody prayed at the end of the show. But it got to a point where it's just like, man, why are we having somebody pray at the end of the show? That was a question that we asked each other because we wanted to avoid falling into that legalistic trap that is laid out there for believers. Like, what is motivating us, man, to pray at the end of the show? Is it just like praying before your meals? Is it just compulsory? Why are we doing that? And examining it because we did not want to create a platform or be a part of a platform even that modeled and mirrored the church. It was something we just really worked hard on not falling into that trap. Right. And it's really difficult.
Right. And you know what else? Like, we had a comment on YouTube where somebody said something, because sometimes when we would pray, we'd be like, who praying? Who praying? You praying? We didn't talk about that ahead of time. We just say, somebody pray. And then somebody wouldn't say, no, I ain't, my Holy Ghost ain't. But somebody said,
on one of our YouTube shows that you guys shouldn't be playing with God like that. You know, if you kind of pray, just pray. You know, something similar to that. I'm paraphrasing. I'm not sure exactly what she said, but basically she was saying we shouldn't be horsing around playing like that, stuff like that. But that's kind of legalistic, right?
Yeah. I think.
Especially if all prayer is just having a conversation with God. I mean, I can horse around and have a conversation with anybody. You know what I'm saying? People in the IC have this thing where prayer is, you know, some great sacred thing that ought not to be played around with, like the pulpit, for instance. You know, I'm just talking with God. Calm your nerves.
Yeah. Because when we start talking about how often we read the Bible or how often we prayed, I mean, we had that conversation like, when's the last time you read your scripture? When's the last time you prayed? And we didn't have it as a way of making light of the importance of doing either one of those things, but we talked about it because there's such a greater emphasis on it than actually having an authentic relationship with Christ. Like, people believe that if you don't read your Bible every day, if you don't pray every day, that you're going to fall out of favor, quote unquote, with Christ. Like, Christ no longer loves you based off of how often you pray and how much scripture you read. Like, those things are connected. People really have those notions. And we did whatever we could, man, try to help people unpack that. Like, so you mean to tell me that if you didn't pray today that Christ doesn't like you anymore? Like, you're not going to get the thing that you actually need now because you didn't wake up at 5 a.m. and start your day off with Christ? Now the rest of your day is going to be trash? Like, come on, man. Those are real beliefs and real things that people believe. They really have that sad notion that Christ is sitting there waiting with a lightning bolt in his hand to ruin your day because you didn't get up at 5 a.m. to pray when you just got home from work at 4 a.m. Like, come on, man. This real negative picture of who Christ is.
And let me say this too about our shows too. Sometimes, you know what? There were some shows that we did that we were like, boy, this show about to kill. Boy, they about to eat this show up. And then we do it, and we barely get any response. And then there'd be some shows like, man, ain't nobody gonna listen to this. And those be the shows that just blow up. Be like, oh my God, you look on YouTube, and they got, 2,000 views, 2,500 views. That's a lot for us. It's not really a lot of views, but a lot for us. So we never knew from day to day which show was going to blow up, which show wasn't. It was like we didn't really prepare for the show, y'all. We should have did better. And then we go in, and the show just flows, and it just flows. And people calling in, and that was great. That was wonderful. Speaking of callers, we've had our fair share of callers. We had people who called our show and said some wonderful things. People who used to call a lot, and they haven't called in a while. But we're grateful for everybody who had a hand in Real Talk Radio. If you just shared a kind word, we thank you. We thank you for the people that's behind the scenes, that supported us, people that shared our shows, people that shared our YouTube channel. We appreciate you. We thank you. We got Laylee over in the UK helped us on our website. That website is still up and running. It's www.forrealtalkradio.com. It's still up and running. We thank you for your input in that. David Lee, everybody who supported Real Talk Radio. There's too many people to name, but you know who you are. We know who you are. We recognize you, and we thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Yeah.
Good.
Roby too, man. He would agree to a show at the last possible second. We have called Ronald Roby during one of the many tithing shows that we've done. We've contacted him minutes before going on the air, and he'll be like, "Yep, I'm down," and he'll call in and contribute to the whole show. So, we got a lot of people that have supported and contributed to Real Talk Radio that we just like you said, it's too many to name, man. But we know who you all are. You know who you all are. We thank you and we love you.
Yeah, Rick Young from Apostolic Apologetics Research Center, Church Boy, Patrick Jackson, all you guys, man.
Fun.
It'd just be mind-numbing trying to name everybody. Man.
Yeah.
We got a few minutes left, guys. The phone number is 516-418-5903. If you want to call in to give, share a few comments before we go off the air. Go ahead, John.
I was gonna talk about one of the shows. If we ain't got nothing else on the agenda, let's talk about some of the shows I experienced a little bit. So one of the shows that I have not went back and listened to, because I always go back and listen to every show we do, sometimes 2 or 3 times. Like I go back and listen to shows from like 3 or 4 years ago just to see where we are and how we've grown and hear our transition and growth through the years. But one show sticks out to me in particular that when I listen to it, I cannot get 40 minutes into the show without my blood pressure shooting sky high. And that was the show we did with Demetrius Senegal.
I was just thinking about that.
Yeah.
That show right there, I have not been able to go back and listen to that show because I get so frustrated and so angry when I listen to that show, and I don't know what it is about that particular show. I was supposed to host the show. I was supposed to be the moderator, but I was too heavily involved and too heavily engaged in the conversation to moderate properly. But it was still it was a decent show. I just can't listen to it. I don't know how y'all felt about it. I can't do it.
Oh, okay. I don't care. Our most famous show today on YouTube. What? Our most famous show on YouTube is the one we did with Rhonda and David about the Potter House. That show has about 25,000 views on YouTube, and I think we've gotten the most comments on that show than anything. I just stopped replying to comments because they keep coming in. You get half are, applauding David and Rhonda, and the other half are castigating them. So that's the most famous show we've ever done on YouTube, is that Potter's House experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if you brothers know, but we also did a couple of shows on tithing.
Oh
boy. I don't remember.
It was one show. Yeah, I don't know. We did one show where we think it was called Accountability, where we really had like B. Johnson Elton. We had a fight on the air, like we was on the air going back and forth like we do in our behind the scenes. Like we was really fighting. B. Johnson was Elgin at the time. I think one of the callers was coming in on Elgin's side, and Elgin ended the show like bam. That was it. He just ended the show like that's it.
Yo, just
we
flat
called
out hit the end of the show button, like done. But it was so crazy about this show, man, is that we were so heated, but it was like we didn't cross that line. It was just something about it, like we didn't cross that line. But man, I hopped in my doggone feelings and hit that end of the show button, and man, I didn't think twice about ending that doggone show either. There wasn't no like shit. I don't think I should. It was like end the show.
Real funny.
Oh man! And then we got the women in pastors, women in leadership. Man, that show. Woo!
Wow.
That was a fight. We had some honor fights. Not with each other, with some of the callers. So yeah, that was pretty good. So y'all didn't rap it at the beginning of the shows? When we used to rap? We used to freestyle.
Yeah, freestyle, yeah. That was your idea. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to do it last show, but I got turned down.
Yeah, you like that.
Oh, he hard-headed, too, because we did that show called Emotions. We talking about emotions. And we told Jonathan not to play this song, and he played it anyway. He probably said, all right, I ain't going to play it. He played it. H-Town, Emotions. Emotions make you cry sometimes. Yeah. I was like, dude, do not play that song. Me and Elgin was dude, don't play that song. Play that song. and we let him have it after the show. No, we let him have it while the song was playing in the background. We let him have it.
At least I didn't play no song with no cuss words in it.
Oh boy, bro. Listen, man.
That was 5 and 2, wasn't it?
Man, listen. I thought I had a hit right there. I was like, yo, this is gonna be dope. This is gonna be perfect for this show. And man, when he started cussing, I couldn't stop the doggone sound. I couldn't stop the audio. The button wouldn't work, so it kept playing. And these cats was laughing, and I'm trying to press the button, and I'm like embarrassed. I'm like, man, I think I was fired for the most of that show because I didn't want to say anything. I was just so ashamed of myself for playing that, man.
Look at ODB. Hey, you got my money? Hey, hey, you got money? Or whatever it's called.
Yeah. That was pretty.
That was it.
Pretty hilarious. All right, fellas. 2 minutes left. Any final thoughts on the final show, on the final episode of Real Talk Radio?
Man, I'm gonna do it like I always did, man. Just try to find your freedom in Christ, man, and rest there. I thank everyone who's ever participated in Real Talk Radio, the callers, the haters, the critics, the supporters. Love all you guys, man. Thank you so much. To all of you brothers on this line right now, man, absolutely love each and every last one of you, man. Appreciate you in so many different ways, man. Till next time.
Rob.
Yeah, man. Just to steal a line from Elgin, man, Jesus plus nothing is everything, man. It's all about Christ. Because I went before you. So, nah, man, I can't say enough about the brotherhood that we have, the guys on this panel, man. I mean, you guys are truly my family. I love y'all, man. Haven't even met a couple of you face to face yet, but we plan on getting together. And that's another thing. We that people probably don't realize. We all haven't met face to face, but have been doing this show for 6 years. So we're planning on knocking that out in March for the final time. Everybody, we're not meeting together for the final time, but for finally everybody getting together and meeting face to face. So that's it, man. I mean, thank you again for everybody that's participated in Real Talk Radio. And really, you haven't heard the last of us, to be honest with you. You never know when we're going to pop up, but you really haven't heard the absolute last of Real Talk Radio. But we just got to kind of fall back right now. But that's it. We love y'all.
Mm-hmm. All right. Drake.
I'm so glad we had this time together.
Lord have mercy.
Listen. All right. I'm really going to miss chopping it up with you guys. You know what I'm saying? On the air. We always chop it up anyway, but, doing it on the air and whatnot, I'm gonna miss that. I mean, I was missing it anyway. I was always at work all the time. You know what I'm saying? But
life happens.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And see, these are some of the things that that we've encountered. Doing the show. We got things that we got to do. So, gone now, but never gone forever. You guys will always be my brothers. I'm going to meet up with each and every one of y'all at some point in the future. Hopefully, having the Real Talk Radio jackets and hats. You understand what I'm saying? The commemorative Real Talk Radio hats and jackets and whatnot. Because I'm trying to do this for us because it represents a bond that we have. You feel me? I mean, okay, I'm getting off this line before something come out of my eye and, all of it.
It's dust, man. Dust line in your eye.
Go.
You know what I'm saying?
Next.
All right, John.
Stop chopping those onions.
Yeah.
Right?
So I know, like a lot of people who've listened to us for a very long time, they feel like they know us, like personally, and you probably do, because the people who you hear, what you hear on radio, is who we really are. This is we're very transparent about who we are. So if you feel like you know us, you probably do. But the thing for me is, Jesus was with the disciples for 3 years, and then he sent them out. We gave y'all double that because we ain't Jesus, and y'all ain't the disciples. But we did 6 years. 6 years, man. Can you imagine how scared the disciples were when Jesus was crucified and he was ascended to heaven, and they couldn't see no more? But they still had a purpose. They still had to do their thing. So now the responsibility is on y'all. They say, now you know, and now that you know, you're responsible for it. So I want to challenge everybody who's ever listened to the radio and you've agreed with us. Now you are responsible for what you know. And this show allowed us to be our authentic black selves as black men and women who joined us in America. We can still be black and be Christian and love Jesus. It's not contradictory. They work together.
Right.
So, you know, just thank all the brothers for all the fights and the love and the, you know, it is what it is. This is what a real family is, and I truly believe that what we've created here is what God intended, what a real family is and how it should operate, you know, the body of Christ. We love each other. We might not have met every single person face to face, but we still have that relationship. And so this medium of social media, it's effective, and it. Thank you for listening. I'll see you next.
LL.
Yo, I'm with Dre on this one, man. It feels like this ending, even though we know each other. We're going to meet up again, of course, personally, face-to-face, even though we have our background chats, we have each other's phone numbers and all of this stuff, man. It just feels like a part of us is about to just go ahead and roll over. That's hard, man. That's real hard, knowing that we've chopped it up and spoken with some of the greatest minds out here in America, across the world, spoken to some of the greatest minds next door to us. And now that portion is like being let go. But I think, again, L, the twins, Rob and Dre for bringing me on. I don't know where I would have been as far as talking about religion or relationship with anyone else outside of y'all. And that started with CFR, of course. So shout out to everyone with CFR as well. And it's probably the greatest. I think I've been in on 4 years of the 6 years with y'all. The 4 years of my life has been the greatest. And everyone out there that we know that we've met can tell y'all like the Truman Show goes. Good morning. In the case I don't speak it, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
All right, yeah. All right. All right. And I'll say my final thoughts. We never tried to be anybody's Holy Ghost. That was not our job. We never wanted people to place us on pedestals to make us more than what we really were. That was part of our job as well. I can't say that I never tried to pull people out of church, because I did, but once I learned, I grew, and I stopped trying to pull people out of church. So here's some information that you might want to take a look at and give a second thought about. You know, study this to see that if you still choose to go to church, that's your choice. But know that there's a better way for you to have a relationship with Christ. So it's not our place to tell you not to go to church. If that's what you choose to do, more power to you. We never try to tell anybody what to do. We tell you what we did, what worked for us, what God has shown us, and we pray that God will open up your eyes to show you the same thing He's shown us. We sincerely appreciate everybody that had a part and a hand to play in our growth and development. As John said earlier, if you listen to our very first show, listen to this last show, you can hear the growth and development that we shared. I love you guys. I will see you guys in Philly in March of next year. And on that note, we're out.
Peace.
Peace.
Later.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Real Talk Radio. Check out our website at www.forrealtalkradio.com for updates on all of our social media platforms, like our YouTube channel and Facebook page. Feel free to send us your comments, questions, or criticisms. If this show or any of our past shows have helped you in any way, please feel free to share it with your friends and family. See you next time.
Everybody needs to understand that I'm more than simply a hype man for this rap group. Just like Geico is more than just a company that can save you money. Geico also has fast and friendly claim service, so they can help you when you need it most. And while I do love being a hype man, I also love reading for children's audiobooks. Like Little Bo Peep, she lost a sheep, and she don't know where to find them. Yo!
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.